Hello, this is Tish Aiken, and I'm dealing with about 10 takes of part two, but that's second time is always the harder. So anyway, okay, so this is the Capricorn tale, this huge new decade, this time, this historical time for all of us, this time of restructuring our goals, major exits, major endings, and committing to major new beginnings in our lives. For Scorpio, Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter will be transiting in your third house of ideas, of the mind, of how you think, of marketing, sales, and communication of all forms, as well as short distance trips and dealing with local activities, neighborhood type things. So for Scorpio, you may want to restructure your thought process. Scorpio is not the most optimistic of the signs, so you might want to figure out ways to reframe how you think. And also, if you're in your own business, find new ways to structure how you market yourself. A lot more to do with communication. If you've been doing a lot of writing or, other ways of marketing yourself, you'll find that that pays off. But that's where it's a great area of committing to, and also getting more involved in local events, neighborhood activities. And also, again, if you're marketing, that's a great way of maybe getting out there in this time of disconnection, maybe get out of social media and go to neighborhood places and do things to, to contribute to the community, but also to promote yourself. And Uranus and Taurus is transiting in your seventh house of partnerships and relationships. And, this is a time of a lot of change, sudden beginnings, sudden endings in relationships. If you're in partnerships, some of them may sever suddenly and out of the blue. If you are single, this is a time where you could meet somebody out of the blue. Some relationships might be ephemeral and short-lived, but some of them might just be just something that comes in out of the blue when you least expect it, and meeting somebody in a way or in a place that you would never imagine, or attracting a partner that you wouldn't think you'd normally be attracted to. But I think that there's a lot of action and activity around relationships, and I think new beginnings and a lot of change in that area for Scorpios. For the sign of Sagittarius, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto in Capricorn are transiting in your house of money and income. This is, you just had Jupiter in your sign. It exited on December 2nd. And so you might be finding that you're expanding how you earn income and the rewards from that, especially with Saturn and Pluto there, because you're structuring new ways to earn income. If you've been working hard on your goals the last few years, because you also had Saturn in your sign on and off from the very end of 14 until 2017. Now maybe you're finding that that's up leveling and taking another form for you on what you've worked on. So earning more income, but also having Jupiter expand your house of earnings and income, but also what you value, restructuring your value system. For the sign of Capricorn, this is your year. And so the Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto story is in your first house of new beginnings. You're going to be experiencing a lot of new beginnings, a lot of changes. This is a huge time for Capricorn, because Saturn and Pluto, although they have not met up in the sky, well, originally they met up in the fall of 82, in November of 1982. And then again, they were a degree apart in 1983, but they haven't met up in Capricorn for over 500 years. So it's a big deal. And Saturn is in its rulership, and you've got 3 outer planets there. Currently, you also have eclipses in your sign axis. So big time in your life. Probably nothing ever like this again that you'll be dealing with. So really committing to what you want to structure. Capricorn is a very goal-oriented sign, so it's a huge time for you. And Uranus is transiting in your 5th house of romance and creativity and children and self-expression. Get in touch more with your inner child. You might find new ways of being creative. You might get pregnant suddenly. You might have new love affairs out of the blue with the Uranus transiting in the 5th house that deals with romance, but it's also time to have some fun. Yes, it's very much about goals and hard work and taking accountability, and that's always the theme of your life, I think, in some regard. You can't avoid karma when you're a Capricorn, but I think it's also new ways of having fun and getting out, well, just getting out there, you know, and it's going to be a really busy time for you. And this is, you know, your year, Capricorn story. For the sign of Aquarius, the Saturn-Pluto conjunction is falling in your 12th house of spirituality, of dreams, of creativity. It is also a house of endings. You may find there are some endings going on in your life. Saturn transiting the 12th house often is a time of endings. Pluto is death and rebirth, but it also could be letting go of things that aren't, you know, that you've been wanting to let go of for a long time. It's kind of almost in a sense, it's a composite of the last 28 and a half, 30 years of Saturn transiting in all the preceding signs or houses rather. And, you know, it's also a time with Jupiter there. Jupiter is the ancient ruler of the 12th house, of getting in touch with your spirituality and manifesting your dreams. Jupiter transiting in the 12th house is an excellent time for manifesting dreams and also helping others. You know, it's a very altruistic combination. For the sign of Pisces, the Saturn-Pluto conjunction and Jupiter also are transiting in your 11th house of friends and groups. You might find that there are friendships that are no longer working for you, that you feel are toxic or in some way draining. You will be letting go of those friendships. You might find also some very karmic and very important people come into your life in 2020, because Saturn, when we meet people during Saturn cycles, they can be in our lives for many years, if not the rest of our life. And, you know, it can challenge the area of relationships, of friendships, but it can also bring some very, very special and important people in your life path, and people that might be here to teach you as well, friends that are somewhat as mentors to you. And Jupiter is expanding your 11th house of friends and groups. So you'll be also networking and meeting new people. And it's a good time for social media and such. For the sign of, that is the last sign. And my camera person has just run out of the room. And so I'm going to have to walk away to end the video. So I wish you a lot of luck, everybody. Thank you very much. And I will be doing a video later on the eclipses. Thank you. Take care.